Hi, my name is FOA and welcome to the Love in Focus, the podcast for mums where we explore, discover, build community with our only child. Let's get going. Okay, you know what I mean. Let's start with the program. Oh my goodness. So today and welcome, I'm going to be sharing a few simple tips about when you already now have your group, meaning it's you and another family, or maybe you have 2 or 3 other families, or even more. So now you are ready to go and start an adventure. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because here it's summer now and summer school break. So when Olivia, before I was how do I say it? Before she was going to school, so she was in preschool, not even before that. When she was about 2 years old, I started a field trip group. So it was called Little Local Adventures. And our little group, we would go and explore and learn and discover lots of things in our community. And so our group was little at first, it was about 5 families, ended up being a lot of families and a lot of children. But we started small. And so why I started that, I wanted to explore different things in our community. For example, my child loves to play outside. She loves to run. When she was 2 years old, well, actually a lot younger than that, right? They just love to be outside. And so I wanted different ways where her and I, while we're outside and we are with our friends, I wanted to engage that. What's another learning experience that uses all your senses? Smell, touch, taste. Smell, touch, taste, hearing. Is it feelings? Oh my gosh. It's the 5 senses. I'm sure I got that wrong. Maybe memory. I know memory is not one of the senses, but maybe I should relook at my 5 senses. Anywho, and so I went to the library, and I always pick the library because it's the easiest. Now, for you, you might say, I don't live close to the library, so what you're sharing is not practical for me. But listen up, I have something for you as well. So, for those who can access their library, their local library, and you have transportation, tell your friends. So, you pick, what does your child like to learn when they're at the library? What kind of books, or what do you want to introduce them? Like, for example, they love to go outside, Olivia. And so I put, okay, so I'll ask the librarian. There's always story time for little children and different ages. And so I asked the library lady, would she read a book just for our group? And if you're thinking, wow, I didn't think about that, you're welcome. Because I like to think that was my idea too, but I'm sure someone told me you can do that. It's probably the library lady. She goes, anytime if you cannot make it during story time, we love to, just let us know and we can read to your group. And so I asked the library lady, different days where they could just read to our group, and then I would tell them this is what we're interested in. So they read, for example, a book about, I can't remember, but if your child loves to read about worms, then pick the book that your child's going to love. Now, maybe not everybody is going to love about worms, but maybe in your story time, you might be able to fit in more than one book, maybe 2 books, and they're short, they're not really long, because you still want to have the level of engagement that fits your group of children. Because and your friends know, well, yeah, we can't have like 30 minutes of reading, the kids just sitting there. Some kids do, but you know your group. So if you can fit in more than one book, that way you might have a variety of interests for the kids while they're listening and also the parents. So once she did that, I asked the librarian, is there an arts and crafts? Are you able to have a craft for the children after the book reading? And, they might say, sure, we can do that. And if they're not, you can ask, well, we have a craft in mind. Could we bring our own craft? Or they might say, the librarian might say, we have a craft, but we just don't have time to do it. And then you would say, well, myself and the other parents can do it. Don't worry about the staff. If your staff can read it, and then we can do that. So the reason why I'm saying is because I want you to remind you, Mom, as you're listening, look at the resources that you have. If you have a library, you want to ask them. You want to give them plenty of notice, because if it's like my local library, they've already planned out way before, a month at a time. And so you want to give them notice now, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ahead, and just let them know, is that available? And for us, I always made our program our field trip groups, our adventures, one, just 1 hour. I'm not making it a full day, because for me, it didn't work, because everyone had nap times, lunch times, and other appointments. So 1 hour worked for us. So you got to ask yourself, when you're planning these activities, how long are you expecting your group to be together? And it's not going to be a distraction. You don't want people to come in and out during the activity. You want them to be present with the amount of time that they're there, and also the children as well. And most times you do not want to be leading the group, because you are there as well to participate, to learn, and be with your own. You want to be there with your child. You're not there to like teach, because you're going to be, you don't want to be distracted. You're there to have fun, and so it's that time where you're also engaging with your child. So it's always nice when someone else is teaching and leading the group, and you're there just to say, we're here. Thanks for having us. And you're the lovely host. Okay. And so for those who cannot have access, like the library's too far away or transportation, so what I would recommend is, okay, does any of you and your friends like to read? You're like, yeah, okay, so maybe one mom likes to read a book. Do you have any books that maybe that child has read, but no one else has read it yet? Like, oh, we have that, but my child hasn't heard that book. Well, would that parent like to read a book to the group? And then if it's worms again, someone might say, well, okay, if you read the book about worms, I don't want to do anything, but you can come to my house and dig up, you know, a patch or somewhere in my backyard looking for worms. I don't do anything, but I'll provide the space where you can come. We're like, sure. And then the other parent might say, well, either you have a choice, let the kids look for worms, or it's probably best, have a parent and then you guys go and look for worms together. So at least you have one parent like directing where the conversation is in the activity. And that way, I find it's so helpful when everyone is participating, the adults. So it's just not all on you. Because when it's all on you from start to finish, it's gonna get a lot tiring as you plan the next activity and the next activity, and then you're like, man, it is a lot of work from start to finish. I'm organizing, doing all of this and that, and it might not be as enjoyable as if you just had someone else lead it, or, your group participates, adults, in one way or the other. And it's okay to ask the other mamas, like, hey, I want to do this. And as I'm, you know, leading these groups, I really would like help if someone did one part so we all have some part in it. And I'm sure they'll say yes. You might have a parent that like, I don't want to do anything. I want to show up and just do nothing. Well, then you need to decide if that's the parent for you and your group. I mean, seriously. I mean, because there might be some parents like, yeah, I just want to show up. I don't want to do anything. And I want you to watch my child. I made it very clear in my group, the Little Local Ventures, this is not a daycare. This is not come and drop your child off and you be on your cell phone. When you're coming, you are looking after your child in the activity. You are participating because I have my own child. This is the type of group that I am wanting to build. And they'll stay or they'll just like participate in that way. And it's only for 1 hour as well. And it's just a time where you can have fun, you can explore and discover, and you wanting to learn with your child. So the tip is what resources, and make it simple. You don't have to have it like major expensive. You don't have to go and buy a book. Look at the resources that you have and ask yourself, what interest does my child have? And how can I go deeper with the learning? How can I extend it to where using all my five senses? And then is the group like your friends who you're connected with? Do they want to do this as well? And then ask them. They might have some ideas as well. And then you just use what you have. And that way, if you keep using what you have, then you can ask the people in your local community. And you're like, hey, well, you know what? My neighbor, my neighbor, and I don't know, they have animals. Well, after we read the book, can we go and visit, your neighbor's chickens or something? Like, oh, sure, I'll ask my neighbor. And they love to talk about their chickens. Like, oh, sure, okay then. Or you might have a neighbor who has a cat or a kitty and say, oh, we just read about a cat. Can I bring my group over and is your cat an outdoor cat? Oh, I don't know, like, and there's always someone who just loves to talk about something that they love. But you want to make sure when they're talking about it that they're not talking for too long because the age of the child, right? Because look, if they're talking and talking, and the children are not using their five senses, they're not they're not touching anything, they're not holding anything, they're not sit. They're gonna fall asleep. Or they're just going to have all their wiggles because we would say you got to get your wiggles out because they're just like not paying attention. And then you spent most of your time like, shush, be quiet, stay still, stop touching that, and it's not going to be fun at all. So you want to limit the time that the adult is talking. Whoever is the adult that's talking, you don't want them to talk for too long. And the rule for me was, you can talk about 2 to 3 minutes. 4 minutes is pushing it really because little kids are like, oh, we just want to get out there and do the activity. So 2 to 3 minutes most, depending on the age of the little ones. And then you want them to use their five senses. That's when you want to be engaging. And then you can come back and have another little 2 to 3 minutes of talking where everybody just hold on, look at me, and while you're talking, and then you are once again just going back to the activity. And that way you're making it fun. So I wondered if you probably do have something. You're probably thinking about, oh yeah, I have a friend, or I really am interested in. You might have child like, well, my child really they like to bake, or they like to play with Play-Doh. Okay. And you might say, okay, if they like to play with Play-Doh, how can I make that the next step of an activity? Well, what I would do is, one, can I have other friends? Maybe a friend has a larger kitchen and say, can we come to your house where we make Play-Doh? I don't want people coming to my house to make Play-Doh. And there are lots of simple recipes. So your friend, you might have a friend or someone goes, yeah, sure, you can come to my house to make Play-Doh, but I don't have the ingredients. Someone else will say, well, I've got flour, or I have water, or I have salt. So you all can either have a choice of you bring your own ingredients, right? Or someone says, oh, you can just, I have it all in one. Like, don't worry about it. So it really depends. So you go to someone else's house, they make it. And then what you could do is with the Play Doh, I mean, you can even nowadays watch a fun little clip about something to do with Play-Doh. If they like, I don't know, animals, watch a little clip with and farm animals with Play-Doh. And then you tell the children, okay, we're going to make Play-Doh and we're going to so-and-so's house. Here we're making Play-Doh. So isn't it fun? And then you guys make it, and then, or you can make a Play-Doh, make it outside. Like your friend might say, I don't want the Play-Doh inside my house. Okay, you can make it outside. Make it outside. So there's lots of different ways if your child likes making Play-Dohs. And then you can use certain colors. So you can use primary colors, you can use rainbow colors, whatever color you're wanting your child to learn. For example, you might focus, well, we're making a yellow Play-Doh. What else is yellow, right? So you have yellow Play-Doh, and then you have a pineapple, and your shape's the sun. So you pick specific shapes like sunflower, pineapple, a yellow car. So you're introducing a variety of language as well. Different words, a yellow duck, so yellow sun, yellow bus, yellow shoes. And then you might have like pineapple. Pineapple's yellow, or a yellow banana. And then you would cut it up. You would have some pineapple, fruits. You have a banana, and you've already cut them. You can show it to them, and then you can get the kids to taste it. So you've made yellow Play-Doh, right? And then you've had specific shapes that they can make. And now you have the fruit, because that's taste, and then they get to taste and smell it. So you're using all the five senses. Now, you don't have to do that, but that's just something. When I mean like you just explore a little bit more, I'm just looking at different ways where I really introduce different ways where yellow is, and they can eat, and then they can smell it, and then they're making the Play-Doh. So there's lots of different ways of learning, all from just making Play-Doh. And you are engaging with your child, and not only that, but you're with your friends, and they're also learning as well. And then it's amazing of the conversation. So it's only about 1 hour. You're not making a full length. For us, when I had my little local adventures and we would have fun activities like this, it would only be for an hour. But the conversations afterwards, I mean, my child, she absolutely love these types of hands-on learning using all the five senses. And she would share her experience with her grandparents and her other friends, and it would just be a wonderful highlight of the day. And also, when you are doing these types of activities, you get to learn as well. You get to really connect with your child in the way that you get to see different types of, wow, I didn't expect that from that. You know, having a pineapple, and then they'll ask questions like, oh, where do pineapples come from? Oh, do you like pineapple? Is grandma so and so allergic to pineapple? Can dogs eat pineapple? The conversations. So that's what I mean. The conversations will spark curiosity, and that way you have, like, at dinner time, you can talk, you can extend the conversations of different things. And it might be, you might pick one color per month to do this, or there's so many different ways to even go further. So you can connect with, okay, so we saw one of the shapes was a yellow duck. Well, how about next month we go and learn about little ducks? And, maybe someone has a duck farm, or maybe we can go to the petting zoo and learn about farms, ducks, and maybe have a duck egg. I don't know. You can take this in so many directions. But what I learned is I just start small and then I really extend it. How else can I extend this learning using the five senses that is going to be engaging for my child at this age and engaging for me? And then how can I engage that with the other parents? And also asking them how they can help as well. And that way you're all having fun. And I just want to tell you, Mom, you are a wonderful mama. You are doing the best you can with the time that's given. And I'm hoping you are telling yourself this. You are cheering your only child on. You're cheering yourself and you're cheering on your husband and your family and the community. And I just want to say, give yourself a 20-second hug and let you know that you are beautiful, you're wonderful, and you are a wonderful friend. Yes, my name is FOA, and this is Love in Focus, building a community with our only child. And I want to say it's love in focus because it's love that you're giving to yourself and it's love that you're giving out. And if you want to have a friend, I always say, if you want to have a friend, you got to be a friend and start with yourself because that's where you're loving to yourself, you're kind, and that's why you are an awesome friend to have. So I want to say thank you for listening to my podcast, and please leave a message on my fan and the podcast. Now you can leave me a message in the fan base and the fan mail. Sorry, in the fan mail, leave me a message and I would love to connect with you. And if you're wanting more ways, like, hey, I'm thinking about this topic. Do you have another tip? How can I use my five senses? Let me ask me and I will reply back to you. Yeah, have you thought about this? Have you considered going about this? And just tell me about it. And that way you won't need to come up by yourself if you need a help. You have a friend, and her friend is me, and my name is Four. So thank you. This is Love in Focus, building a community with our only child, building love one episode at a time. I will see you next week. Thank you for leaving a message in the fan mail. Thank you for leaving a thumbs up and like and my subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube. So thankful. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.